we've had different conversations about Myles as a leader. What's next for Myles? What's the fallout of the contract squabble? What does that look like? Well, Jim Schwartz today had an interesting comment about what he expects out of Myles Garrett this year.
I don't know. I mean, this is a voluntary portion. We know Myles works hard no matter where he is, no matter what time the season is. So, he's a veteran player that's proven himself in this league. We have a lot of guys out here who are trying to reach that level, and they're working hard every day to do that. So every player's a little bit different, but this is a voluntary part of the schedule, and we're happy with the guys that are here, and they're all working really hard. I really think Myles is going to have the best season of his career. Has to, right? And I've told him before, it's that Spider-Man quote, with great power comes great responsibility, right? And that's with the big contract, with the notoriety that came along with that, and, with the process that took to get him to that point. There also comes, there's always pressure in this league, but probably a little bit more so. And I think that brings out the best in players. And I know that'll be the case with Myles also.
All right, there's a few things.
You think he's ever actually seen Spider-Man?
Unless it was on film, like game film, no. Unless it was
they
like,
pop Spider-Man into game film. And this is Spider-Man and all 22.
The only way to get Jim Schwartz to watch it is if you put like a cut up of the movie in the middle of like all 22 from the Pittsburgh game last year.
He knew the reporters were going to bail him out of that one. There's enough reporters that have seen Spider-Man.
Also, I love that it's just nothing funnier that the Browns continue to insist on putting the
dump truck.
Yeah. Because it's in every clip.
Yeah, I know.
And at some point, it feels like maybe there's a statement being
I thought
made
when
there.
they bought out the houses, I thought that would kind of make that all go away, right?
Maybe that's what they broke ground on today that we'll talk with Daryl about.
There we go.
Right?
A lot of shovels out today, Nick.
But I thought it was interesting that he said, maybe there'll be more pressure on Myles Garrett this year. And he linked it directly to the contract.
Yeah, which Myles has already signed an expensive contract. It was a 5-year, $125 million deal. It happened years ago. We were all there for it. Like, it's not like this is it's not his first rodeo when it comes to signing massive contracts. In a year where you're not expected to win a bunch, I thought he was going to go to the idea that he now has Mason Graham on the line, and that's where he should then look like the best version of Myles. Not necessarily that he's going to be motivated by making more money, because I don't think that's going to be true with him.
Yeah, I just don't think Myles is going to feel any pressure.
Why would he feel pressure?
And here's the thing. I think Myles knows he is an Adonis. I think Myles knows he's one of the 5 best edge rushers in the NFL, and the heir apparent to Reggie White and Bruce Smith. I think Myles knows that he is on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why, maybe one of the things that bugged me the most about signing the extension is that him signing the extension for $40 million meant he was totally comfortable with where this thing was going, which is likely in the toilet. And there was something about that really bugged me about a guy that I've watched be elite, like a guy who has played through injuries after injury and sets a tone in that way at the very least, to then watch him be like, you know what, maybe winning isn't that important. I'm totally content with where we are because you gave me $40 million.
I still don't think that's the case, though. I think it was just he just realized his hands were tied, and he was in a situation he wasn't going to be able to get out of. It's really all I ever think it was. But
and he really, what a fight. Almost made it to free agency.
Yeah, I mean,
TJ Watt is still in a contract kerfuffle with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think he looked at it, realized he was basically screwed in getting his way out of it, and said, okay, fine. If $40 million is what it's going to be, then $40 million is what it's going to be. But the point is, I don't see where the added pressure is, mainly because he's made a bunch of money before, and I don't know that this is going to be any sort of incentive to be like, let's do great for a 3 or 4 or 5 win team.
Yeah, and not just that. So in addition to that, I should say, I think Myles is completely content in, hey, if I gave you 15 sacks and 50 pressures, I did my job.
For sure. You can't ask for much more than that. If that's what he delivers, and it's probably what he'll end up delivering, why would he feel like he didn't do his job?
Because the team didn't win.
Yeah, but
I'll be honest with you. I think this is a little bit of loser mentality that is clep, and I hate that phrase because it's overused and misapplied so often. But like the amount of people who, when I criticize Myles for not showing up to OTAs, now people are like, well, he's got 15 sacks. What more can you do? You can win. and he can want to win, and it can burn that you don't win.
Yeah, but if he's entering a season where it doesn't matter what he does, the offensive side of the ball, if it's not good enough, there's nothing he can do.
Well, no, I think my point is, by the way, yes, you can continue to put pressure on the organization, which was the entire attempt of the I want out of here in the first place, was trying to either get out of here or keep them honest in their quarterback pursuit. And then none of that worked. And now we're here. So to get to the point is, so in terms of what more can he do, he has to, like, it's not really about that. It's more about, hey, I got my 15 sacks. I did all I can do. Well, no. You didn't win. So if you only get personal production and you didn't win, you didn't get the job done, no matter if there's nothing more you could have done about it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I took Schwartz's individual standpoint with Myles. I took his comments to be like, from an individual standpoint. If you think he was going towards the winning standpoint, then maybe it's a little bit of a different conversation. I isolated it out as if, like, as he says, Myles is going to have one of the best seasons he's ever had. He should feel pressure to. I looked at that as an individual thing.
No, I think the point I'm trying to make, because maybe we're not.
Yeah, I'm not landing it. Yeah,
is no, the job isn't done if Myles has a good season, but you don't win. Now that's more of a team thing, but Myles owns part of that. If Myles is content having 15 sacks on a 3-win season, I did all I could do. That feels like loser mentality. Like accepting a 3-win season because you had a good individual season, because you were individually good and the team wide they didn't do well. When have we ever had that bar for players?
Okay, but
like how many players in NFL history have been good on bad teams and don't get into the Hall of Fame because of that?
Right, but in relation to the pressure that Jim Schwartz is talking about within that is, like, if this is last year when the offense was 32nd in the NFL and led the league in turnovers, what more would you have wanted Myles in his own individual standpoint to do? If it's such a quarterback league and everything, I get the quarterback. I get Trevor Lawrence signing for $250 million, and it's like, well, then you must win some games. Like that's a thing you have to do then. But with Myles, there's a part of me that looks around and 15 sacks, 50 pressures, has one of the best PFF scores year in, year out. I see him being like, what more do you really want from me?
And the answer should be winning.
But he's only responsible for so much. Like, that's the hard part of this game.
But I think if you just put it about stats, that's not the only way to gauge success, and that's not the only way. So, like, listen, you and I agree. Myles isn't going to feel any more pressure because Myles thinks I did my job because X, Y, and Z happened. That's the problem. Like, just being individually good, making other people better is like part of your job. That's part of leadership too, which is what the Browns have said, which is wild that Jim Schwartz is like, I don't care he's here because, quite frankly, it's voluntary. It's like you were the guy who on the dais at the end of the season were like, we need our best players to be our leaders. You were talking about Myles. That was one of the guys that he specifically was talking about.
Right.
So it's just weird how there just is a lot of double talk with this organization, which is, again, par for the course, because Myles is also the king of double talk as well. I think winning should be part of how we evaluate Myles.
Well, I think it's going to be impossible to evaluate Myles with this upcoming season when if you're using winning as the way to do it, when you don't have a good enough team already presented on the field and you don't have a quarterback that can win you a lot of games, that's a hard ask to then say you got to win a lot of games.
I just think, but like, how many other great individual players do we just give them a pass for losing?
It seems like TJ Watt's gotten a pass his whole entire career.
What losing? The guy's never had a losing season.
Well, no, but I'm saying the guy hasn't won a playoff game. Maybe we're talking two different things. He's never won a playoff game. Like, I look at that as, if you were to tell me a great player, defensive player of the year, multi-time defensive player of the year that's never won a playoff game, and he hasn't. He's never won a playoff game. I don't consider that to be a massive winner.
Yeah, I think we're officially talking apples to bowling balls, because one guy can get into the playoffs 2 times in a 10-year career.
But I think you're putting too much on the defensive end or a pass rusher to then completely change the trajectory of a whole entire team.
That's the point of the $40 million.
No. But without a quarterback, try winning as a pass rusher. Try winning in the NFL saying that's what you're going to do.
The point is, you get very high marks for being really good on bad teams. You don't get full marks. You only really get full marks if you win more than you lose, and they haven't. Like with Myles, more often than not, they haven't. Now, you and I agree, by the way. Yeah, there's no more pressure. Myles is completely content where he is. Myles thinks he's got it all baked in. Maybe that's part of the problem. Like, there is a losing culture in Berea. I know because I've watched the team, even with Kevin Stefanski. Like, they go as like a few indicators go. Like, I love this idea that we've baked in these excuses for the Browns, and it just comes back to you just haven't won. And at the end of the day, that's what you are. It's not, well, the Deshaun thing didn't work out beyond our control. It's not, well, Baker was immature. No, you're just not winners. And figuring out that, which is ownership of winning and losing, not yourself, figuring out how we win as a team should matter as much to Myles as any damn thing else.
Right, but with this upcoming season, and Rome wasn't built in a day here. So, like, if you're going to put wins and losses on Myles' shoulder with a roster that PFF thinks is 32nd in the NFL, you're going to end up disappointed at the end of the season. That's what I'm telling you.
So this is to TM on Twitter saying win-loss record is now a defensive end stat. It's a whole team stat. They all get called losers for that. When you go 3-14, when the expectation was playoffs, I got to put that scarlet letter on Wyatt.
What about when the expectation is a 3-win season, though?
I got to put it on Jack Conklin.
What about when the expectation is a 3-win season like it is this year?
Still a loser. You still lost.
Hey, that's your defining metric or what you want to use to attach whether or not Myles has a good or successful season. I'm just telling you now, you're going to end this year being very disappointed.
How many all-time great defensive players end up on 3-win teams? I don't recall TJ Watt being there. I don't recall Michael Parsons ever being on a 3-win team. And again, this is about the pressure on Myles. It's about Myles having a career. I'm not impressed by 15 sacks anymore. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do that. I have not seen him have a lot of team success. And listen, it's not just about Myles. It's about all of them. I mean, Zach Jackson in the morning show, nobody with a right brain thinks, with a correct brain thinks the Browns are the 32nd best roster
clearly somebody does.
in the NFL.
PFF put it out there, and the FBI gives you the best chance to end up with the dead last.
You are what you're like. I don't care that 3 years ago Joel Bitonio was great, or Wyatt Teller was great, or Ethan Posick was really good for one half of a season. Like, I keep saying like the same four names. My point is, until you win consistently in the NFL, you are where we are right now. So, like, should Myles feel the pressure of losing? Yes, he absolutely should. That was the whole point and everything that he said in January. How has that changed? How has $40 million changed? And still, it's pretty great to lose now because there's $40 million involved.
No, I don't think it has changed. That's kind of the whole point. That's what we always go back on. If it had changed, he would have been there for OTAs. It hasn't changed.
Is there more pressure on Myles Garrett this year? Jim Schwartz says there is. There isn't. Myles is quite content being on a Hall of Fame trajectory, making $40 million a year and going whatever the record is for the Cleveland Browns. It's
why. Well, we started. We agreed with that same sentiment. We agreed with the idea that there's not more added pressure onto Myles Garrett. But then it just kind of shifted into trying to figure out whether or not Myles Garrett should be responsible for the team wins this upcoming season. I just don't think he should.
No, it's not about this season. It's about he's getting a massive pass from people saying, hey, he put up 10
it is about
sacks.
this season. The conversation is about this season. That's what Jim Schwartz was talking about. If there's only so much Myles can control when you have a 4-quarterback battle in Berea.
What about last year?
It's not a quarterback battle that anyone is taking serious.
What about the 8-win season?
We're not talking about last year. We're talking about this upcoming season.
The point is they're all put together there.
We're talking about this upcoming season.
Well, hey, guys, this season and this season only. Let's not talk or think about wins and losses and how it relates to anybody on the roster. Is that where we're going? Everybody gets a pass for being a stink-ass team this year?
No, but you can't say you have to win 10 games this year and it's all on Myles if he doesn't.
No, I didn't say it's all on Myles. For the love of God.
You came close to it.
No, I didn't. I said it's on Wyatt. I said it's on Joel. It's on all of them. They're all losers. They're all content losing.
All losers.
That's
I don't
the
think
point.
They're content losing. They just don't have a good enough roster around them.
Not that, okay, but they have had good enough rosters and they went 3-14. Last year was not a 3-14 roster. They went 3-14. And we're all just going, you know what? Hey, Myles, you get your 10 sacks and you punch out, bub. That's good enough. This is good enough. None of this is good enough. And I got an organization that acts like they've hoisted a Vince Lombardi trophy every year. They
now that's
apparently
infuriating.
Crap good gold ingots in Berea.
Not denying that. That's infuriating. I missed where the Lombardi trophy was.
You think our quarterback plan is crap? What do you know? Well, I know you're 3-14, dog. That's what I know. Oh, hey, guys, it's voluntary. Yeah, hey, it's fine. It's no big deal. It's no big deal at all. Enjoy being 3-14, man.